Well, since my friends don't seem interested in what I've got to say, I guess I'll talk to you. I definitely can't afford a therapist. Not in my current state, anyway. Look, these posh people don't understand what life is like for peasants like me. Even if we can get a job, it doesn't pay very much. How can we afford decent food or clothing?
How are we supposed to afford the things that everyone needs? Rich or poor, we all need certain things.
And what about starting a family? That seems like a really bad idea when we're struggling like this.
But we did it anyway, my wife and I. We did it anyway, so we've got a little girl now. She's 14 months and she's darling. But we can't afford daycare because it's so expensive. So my wife stays home with her. That makes things quite hard for us, economically speaking. She was working as a translator for an embassy, but she's now been replaced by AI. Winter is coming and our flat gets quite cold. It doesn't feel very safe either.
You see, we're living in a rough part of town. Lots of yelling and loud arguments well into the night. Not like Mayfair where you live. Crime in the streets just outside our flat and screaming from our neighbours too.
Definitely not the place I want to raise my daughter. Or live with my wife.
We don't feel safe and that's tough on my spirits. You see, my wife's parents warned her not to marry me. They said I wouldn't amount to much, and maybe they were right. But it really hurt.
You might be wondering why I didn't stay in school. I did, actually. I've got a college degree. It was in medieval history. I know what you're thinking. Why did I study medieval history? Really passionate about it, I suppose. My wife went to university too. That's actually where we met. But now I've lost my position as a junior programmer. I trained for 9 months after university to qualify for that position.
We were so happy when I was hired. We cried with joy. We thought we'd proven her family wrong. Parents were so happy they started to be nice to me. But then the company eliminated my position.
Artificial intelligence does my job now. So now I'm left working in a green grocer here in Mayfair, refill the grocery shelves and mop the floors. It's very tough emotionally. It's really hard on my spirits.
But I'm doing my best. The good news is I've got a second interview at a big bank next week. It's a junior software position, so I'm feeling hopeful. But you never know, do you? I really need to get that job. For my wife and daughter's sake. And mine. I feel so bad they're having to live like this. I think there's a good chance I'll get this new job, but what's to stop AI from replacing me again? I'm scared.
I'm really scared about the future. I'm not sure how democracy can help me now.
Well, who cares about democracy when you can't feed your family, right?
Anyway, thanks for listening.
You've got quite a reputation. Everyone in Mayfair says you're a great listener. You know, everyone in Europe seems to hate Americans. It's probably much the same here, I suppose. They say Americans are bullies and that we're behaving just like the Chinese and Russians. It's not fair.
I'm not responsible for what my government is doing. I'm as upset as everyone here because it's a dark time for us too. Back home, people are really afraid to protest or speak up. You don't know what will happen. It's really scary. You don't know what they might do to you or your family. There's a climate of fear. Big banks, companies, law firms, universities, They're all very powerful, but they're pretty scared too. The president can use the powers of government to ruin our businesses, institutions, and even our lives.
We have to bow down and obey. It feels like a dictatorship in the making.
Our democracy is in danger. We were warned by our smartest people that this would happen.
But we thought they were wrong. We somehow thought we knew better.
It turns out those warnings were right. But now it's too late, so we're all suffering. We're all worried. Americans, Europeans, and virtually everyone else is worried. We don't know how this will end. Maybe a third world war. We thought those dark days were behind us, but it seems they're back from the dead.
They were right. You really are a good listener. Thank you.
You're a very special bird in this park. I'm very happy to meet you. Life once felt so hopeful in my country. The 90s and 2000s were very good for us. My parents' generation had jobs and they bought a nice apartment. They had money to invest too. They bought property and rented it. But now, real estate has lost much of its value.
Until the mid-teens, everything felt very hopeful. But today, everything has changed.
Jobs are scarce, and the Communist Party is squashing all opposition. People get arrested and sometimes just disappear. Outside, we are being watched by 600 million cameras. Our online activities are monitored too. We have a social credit system. If the Communist Party doesn't like what you say or do, they lower your social credit score.
Then it's hard to get that job you applied for. Or you could lose your current job or apartment.
You won't be able to send your kids to good schools either. Totalitarian monitoring of your life is very scary, so everyone keeps quiet. Today, even highly educated people are struggling. Most of my friends are working in cigarette factories once they return. They graduated from the best universities in the West, but they're having to go back to China. They're not allowed to stay. I'll have to go back too. I don't know what I'll do there, so I'm very sad. I really needed someone to talk to. Thank you.
I will speak to you if you have time, mon ami. I've heard you're very discreet. Now that I'm in government, it seems I can trust no one with my innermost thoughts. Seems like we must cut public spending, old chap. I am completely against it, but there's really no choice. My countrymen will be quite upset, and so my party will likely pay a heavy price in the next election. But we have to invest more in national defense, and that money has to come from somewhere. It'll mean cutbacks in essential public services, healthcare, support for needy families, worker retraining, and more. Forget about foreign aid. Even the Americans have given up on that. They've cut nearly the entire budget. The Americans are the pioneers of foreign aid. But if we don't increase defense spending, we'll lose their support. Fortunately, we and our European cousins are dependent on them. We've become American vassals, protectorates. Now we must do as they say. The Americans have been paying for our security for decades. All the while we heavily invested in our societies and social welfare. It's amazing how long we managed this. Consequently, they've been significantly influencing our foreign policy. But the free ride is over, and we have to step up. We have no choice. If the Americans withdraw from NATO, we'll be terribly vulnerable to Chinese and Russian aggression, and we're currently incapable of doing that. Not to mention we need low tariff access to American markets, So there's really no other option, you see. Ordinary people will have to struggle, but at least they'll be alive. It's not a pleasant outcome. It's a harsh one, and I realize that. But what are our choices? They're stark. Our world today feels like it did a century ago. Unchecked state violence has returned and war feels imminent. International law has been replaced by the law of the jungle. Might makes right, and realpolitik is the order of the day. We're living in a very dangerous time, and I'm sure this news comes as no surprise to you.
I have been informed that you're a very good listener. Merci beaucoup, mon ami.